What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got a massive episode for you today. We've got so much to talk about. We've got new products coming out. We've got Journey Together. We've got new Prismatic Evolutions boxes coming out. We're going to cover all of that for you, the whole release schedule. We're going to talk about both Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield price movements. I'm going to talk about what I'm buying into now. I'm putting it all on Scarlet and Violet. We're going all in. Make sure you don't miss this one. Subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. So you know, when I've got this many tabs open, that there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to talk about today. There's just too much to say. Things are really heating up in the Pokemon market at the moment, and there's just not enough time in the day for me to tell you guys about everything that's going on. We've got price movements going crazy across Scarlet and Violet on like new sets. Stock is like not available anywhere for like any sets. You've got Sword and Shield still pumping, and it's difficult to know sometimes where best to put your money into, whether you're a collector or an investor or a bit of both. This is what this channel's for. You know, we're just going to break down exactly what's going on. We're going to start off with a little bit of the release schedule because there's so much coming out over the next few weeks as well. So we've had early pictures now of the super premium collection for Prismatic Evolutions, which is quite interesting. This is going to be a BOS, which is a buy on site. If you are lucky enough to ever set your eyes upon this in a shop, buy it outright. It's a no-brainer. If you ever see one, buy it. I don't think most of us, 99% of us, will ever actually see one of these. They are going to be so heavily bought out instantly. Everything's going to be on pre-orders. If you see pre-orders for this available, I would just fire the bullet straight away and just get straight into it, because if you don't, someone else will, and it will just sell out instantly. So this is sort of like their take of like an ultra premium collection, I guess. And what's really interesting about these early photos is you can see there are 15 booster packs of Prismatic Evolutions, which is kind of crazy, and it just speaks volumes as to how popular this product's going to be. Like I said, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get, but if you manage to snipe a pre-order, keep your eyes peeled for that. It's just going to skyrocket up in price, way over MSRP, way over retail on day one. I can guarantee that, probably even before it's out. I mean, as soon as people get their pre-orders confirmed, they're just going to be marking it up and selling them on eBay to everyone. This is what it looks like on the outside. It's got the coolest little furry Eevee deck box. I don't recommend you actually use this because it will get super dirty and it will be almost impossible to clean. But just as like a display piece, this is super cool. They did like a Pikachu version of this a little while ago as well. I just think it's a really cool product. And then really nice looking play mat as well. Obviously you get the 15 booster packs too, and some card sleeves, and you get a EVEX promo card as well. So really cool. This product is launching in mid-May, I think around about the 15th of May. So pre-orders won't be out for a little while. I'm sure big box stores don't even have their allocations yet. So keep an eye out. This is definitely something that you need to stalk on the pre-orders and see if you can pick one up. Booster bundles of Prismatic Evolutions are coming out real soon. Booster bundle release date, here we go, 7th of March, so Friday of next week. Again, buy on site if you see them. Very unlikely you're going to see one in the wild. They're all going to be taken up by pre-orders. You're going to be very unlikely to get a pre-order now for it, but you never know. Prismatic Evolutions, I think where they've said that they will reprint it going forward, I think that the booster bundles will be printed in more waves going forward. They're more likely to reprint the booster bundles than the Elite Trainer boxes, just because it's easier for them to reprint. The booster bundle is just 6 booster packs with a little bit of cardboard packaging on the outside, whereas the Elite Trainer box obviously has the promo cards, the dice, the separators, the sleeves. It's just harder for them to logistically put all those things together for a reprint. It's much cheaper for them to do this booster bundle, and because it's a short printed set or holiday set, it means there's no bigger booster box. So it's more likely that we're going to get more waves of this over the next 2 years. So if you see any of these, like I said, you'll struggle to get them on Friday when they come out. But if you see them anytime over the next 2 years, again, BOS, buy on site, I would 100% invest into it. But we'll just have to wait and see how many print waves we get of it. 28th of March, which is a little bit away, 4 weeks, just under 4 weeks time, 4 weeks yesterday, we will get Journey Together, which is a full set release, mainline set. We're going to have all the products in one go, I believe. So we're going to get booster boxes, elite trainer boxes. It's just great that there's going to be a big mainline set coming out. I think you're more likely to be able to catch some out in the wild than Prismatic Evolutions. However, with the way the market is at the moment and the amount of hype behind it and all the rip and shippers that are just making an absolute fortune doing these rip and ship streams, it may be difficult to get some on release. I think a lot of pre-orders have already gone out, so you may have missed the boat on that, but just keep an eye on it. I think Journey Together is one of those sets that probably will get quite a lot of waves of reprints again over the next 2 years. I'm in two minds about it. I think it's a bit of a middle of the road set. I'm not going to say it's an awful set straight away because I need to just wait and see what the market does. If you can pick it up for retail, I don't think you're doing bad. I think you'll do fine with that as long as you're willing to put it away for a couple of years, at least, minimum. We always say that on the channel. If you're going to buy some sealed product to keep sealed, you need to be comfortable with the fact that that money may be tied up for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years plus. I've sat on some product for 6 years before it's turned a profit, and then all of a sudden overnight is 3x'd. So it's just one of those things that if you're getting involved in sealed and you want to keep it sealed, essentially the only time you lose is A, if the market completely crashes and Pokemon becomes worth nothing again, which is entirely possible because it's all just shiny cardboard. It's very unlikely, but it is entirely possible. We've seen it in other markets such as like Beanie Babies and stuff like that. I'm not comparing the two because they're two completely different things, but it is possible, as small as that chance is. And yeah, just be cautious with sealed product. Don't invest anything that you can't afford to keep locked up, your cash flow locked up for multiple years. But if you're willing to do that, I think you'll do well in the long term. Now, usually on this channel, after we do the news, I tend to just talk about Sword and Shield and everything that's moving in price in Sword and Shield. The reason why I do that is because Sword and Shield is 99.9% out of print. I don't want to say 100% out of print because something wild could happen and they could just suddenly do something that they've never done before, and like years after products come out just be like, oh, we're re-releasing Sword and Shield. It is possible. It's again incredibly unlikely, but Sword and Shield is essentially out of print. That's why we tend to focus on it on the channel, because that's when you really start seeing the increases in price in product once it's no longer available to get. Now, I just want to take a little bit of a side tangent today to talk about Ultra Modern, so Scarlet and Violet, because I feel like it's my duty to keep you guys informed on like what I'm buying and how I'm investing my funds, because that's kind of what the channel's all about. And at the moment, I'm not buying Sword and Shield product. I'm sitting on a lot of Sword and Shield product. It's doing well. I don't think that you would do bad investing in more Sword and Shield, but my focus at the moment is investing in Scarlet and Violet. Now that might sound a little bit crazy because it's not out of print yet. So you run the risk. Generally, Pokemon, within the 2 year window of a set coming out, will continue to reprint it. So you run the risk that they're going to reprint and have much more supply than the demand, and then the prices of these sets just really, really tank and don't really recover for years and years and years once once the supply catches up with the demand, or vice versa, the demand catches up with the supply, because people finally get through and rip all of the product, and then it becomes scarce again. So generally we say on this channel, don't invest into products until they're at least 2 years old, because then they're reaching the end of their print window. And that's why we tend to really focus on sort of the price movements of Sword and Shield. However, I am buying really heavily into Scarlet and Violet at the moment. The reason why is because we're in a crazy era. We can't base previous performance we can't base current performance on previous actions. Things are changing. We're in a completely different market than we were back in the Sword and Shield era. It's becoming less and less important to wait that 2-year window for things to be out of print. Yes, that's your guarantee. Obviously, nothing's ever a guarantee, but that's your 99% guarantee that nothing will get printed again. However, I just want to highlight something with Twilight Masquerade. So Twilight Masquerade is one of the sets that I'm buying super heavy into at the moment. I'm buying booster boxes and elite trainer boxes, and I'll give you some reasoning behind it. Okay, so Twilight Masquerade was kind of the first set, the first mainline set. I mean, 151 is, I'm not counting that because it's not a mainline set, but Twilight Masquerade was kind of the first Scarlet and Violet set that really just came out of the gate charging. Everyone was super hyped about Twilight Masquerade, and it caught a lot of people off guard because a lot of people weren't ready for how popular Twilight Masquerade was going to be when it released. But all of a sudden, the Greninja became super popular. The rip and ship culture really started to surge up in popularity, and really saw some growth in that side of the market. And Twilight Masquerade has, since it came out, just been performing super well. Considering it's a fairly new set, so its release date was May 24th, 2024. So it's not even been out a year yet. So it's been out 10 months. And it's difficult to find product of Twilight Masquerade now for the kind of price that you could get it for a month or two ago. And it's also the fact that it came out swinging. It was the first Scarlet and Violet set that had hype from the beginning, even when there was a lot of product around. And now we're starting to see it climb up in price, just 10 months in. So have a look at this. Last sold, US eBay, $200 for a booster box, for a set that's not been out for over a year yet. So it's been out 10 months. Now, yes, you could make the argument, okay, Surging Sparks is around that price. Yeah, but with Surging Sparks, I feel like when Surging Sparks got released, Rip and Ship was already pumping, and they were just buying anything they could to open. It was the new hot set. Whereas Twilight Masquerade came out when there kind of wasn't that full hype. It kind of, like I said, it caught people off guard, and it performed much better than people expected, which to me gives me the sentiment that Twilight Masquerade is a much better set than Surging Sparks. I feel that Twilight Masquerade kind of proved itself because it's up to 200 a box because there's none of it available right now. Now, I get it, there's none of anything available right now, but it's a really good sign that Twilight Masquerade, 10 months in, is at 200 plus a box. Look at this one. $225 a box. That speaks to me that, yeah, okay, they might reprint a load of it over the next year, so within its 2-year window, and the price might dip down. I don't think it's going to dip down much though, because if we're thinking about Pokemon Company, what are they realistically going to put most of their resources into reprinting? It's going to be Prismatic Evolutions. It's going to be Journey Together. It's probably going to be Team Rocket once it's out. It's going to be those newer sets. Yes, they probably will do a reprint run on Twilight Masquerade, but I don't think it'll be much. I really can't see them flooding the market with Twilight Masquerade. And the fact that the booster boxes are already starting to climb up to 220, 225 range, even if they do reprint it into the ground, it shows you what the price is going to be like once it hits that 2-year window. So I think we've got a really interesting opportunity now to peer into the future at what Twilight Masquerade, what the minimum price for it is going to be in 2 years' time. In 1 year time when it hits the 2-year window. I think worst case scenario, they print it into the ground and then 1 year from now it goes out of print and it goes back to 202, 225. I think that's worst case scenario. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think they're going to do a small reprint. I think they're going to focus on Surging Spark, Prismatic, Journey Together, Team Rocket, whatever new sets they've got coming out. I think they're going to focus on them. And I think Twilight Masquerade is going to get forgotten about at the printers, mainly. I think what we're going to see is a small reprint, but the price is just going to surge. And I think the Greninja is going to be one of the top 5 chase cards of all of Scarlet and Violet era, and I think it's just going to carry the Twilight Masquerade sealed prices up and up and up. I don't see a world where they're going to reprint Twilight Masquerade enough to meet demand. And it's one of my favourite sets. I think it's massively underrated. And look at this, $225 a box. We're just seeing into the future of what it's going to be like when there's no more stock and when it's out of print. Because you can't get it now and it's already jumped to $225. And it's jumped to there quickly as well. Let's have a look at the Elite Trainer box as well. Look, the Elite Trainer boxes, you can pick them up for $60. I don't see a world where that's a bad deal. And this is why I'm buying into Twilight Masquerade at the moment. I feel like Twilight Masquerade, it's just, I don't want to sit a year from now, 2 years from now, and say, I wish I'd have bought more of that. Do you know what I mean? I really don't think it'll get massively overprinted. And look, $41 now for the booster bundle. Last sold. With postage on top. I don't know what the postage is. Ignore $17 postage. It's not that. It's calculating that if I shipped it to the UK. Okay, so it's probably like $1 or $2. So, I mean, someone realistically just paid $45 for 6 booster packs of Twilight Masquerade. It's a very, very strong set. And look at this. So retail on a booster bundle was $26.94. $26.94 for a booster bundle. And now they're selling for $42, $45, something like that. We're way over retail. Okay, so hang on. Let's just work this out. So $42. I told you I'm going on a tangent today. Make sure you're sat nice and comfy. Put me on in the background. Maybe make yourself a nice drink. Kick back. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll do some technical analysis together. Right, so what were we doing? $42. And it retailed for $26.94. So, let's do the percentage. $26.94. So it's a $15 price rise already. 10 months into the product. So $15, $26.94. So 15 divided by $26.94 times 100. We're 55% over retail on a booster bundle already on Twilight Masquerade. Try and tell me that's not a strong set. Let's have a look at the Greninja. The Greninja is currently selling, last sold, PSA 10, $797 already. And you've got to bear in mind, right, product has been around. And product has been around for below retail on Twilight Masquerade until a few weeks ago. And it's already at $800. What's the Greninja going to be at when in a year's time when it goes out of print? Is it going to be $1,400 card? Is it going to be a 2K card? I don't know. But I'm putting it all on Twilight Masquerade at the moment. I am backing Twilight Masquerade as going to be one of the top sleeper sets of Scarlet and Violet. And right now, I think you can get it on a discount. Let's have a look at the Greninja in Raw then. Look at that chart. It's up 25% over the last 3 months. The raw price of a near mint holo foil on TCG Player, $383, $378. So we're talking nearly $400 a card. Look, here's some selling for $400, $405, $420, $400, $400. $400 range raw for the chase card. And that's like while it was in stock. Now you're struggling to get it, and I don't think there's going to be massive reprints. Let's have a look at the UK then. Look at this. UK, £140. Below retail for a sealed booster box on eBay. I don't see it getting any cheaper than that. Even if we get reprints, you're not going to get it cheaper than retail. Look at this. Elite Trainer box. £41 with £2 postage. Like, there's just no world I see where that's not a good deal. Look at last sold. Someone picked one up today, this morning. £40. £40. That's way below retail for an Elite Trainer box. It makes me laugh. Someone pointed out in the comment section that my new catchphrase is, "It looks cheap to me," because apparently that's all I say on this channel. But it's true. It just looks cheap to me. If you can buy an Elite Trainer box of Twilight Masquerade now, I don't care whether it's still in print or not, £40 for 9 packs in a sealed box of Twilight Masquerade with a promo card. That's not a good, that's, in no world is that not a good deal. That just looks cheap to me. Temporal Forces is another one. So, without showing my address, literally as I was prepping to record this video, booster box delivered, Temporal Forces. Picking it up super cheap. Just while I, before I move on to Temporal Forces though, Twilight Masquerade, I picked one up 2 weeks ago? Maybe 3 weeks ago, a booster box for £115. Now it's already at £140, and £140 is still cheap. It's still below retail. Twilight Masquerade is going to do numbers this year. I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. Now is your opportunity to buy into these Scarlet and Violet sets before they pop. Okay, we've been doing this a really long time. I mean, the channel's been running for over a year. We've got a year's worth of predictions back in the videos. You can go check them out. 99% of them all came true. I'm making predictions now. I'm making big statements now on Scarlet and Violet sets before anyone else does. Okay, no one else on YouTube is doing technical analysis on Scarlet and Violet and saying that Twilight Masquerade and Temporal Forces are going to 2x, 3x over the next couple of years. No one is saying that. But I guarantee, give it another 12 months' time, once these all start going out of print, everyone's going to be saying it. Okay? I'm doing it. I'm voting with my feet. I'm showing you guys, I am buying this stuff. I believe in it. Now is your opportunity to buy in cheap to Twilight Masquerade. Let's talk about Temporal Forces now as well. Okay? Temporal Forces is the most underrated set, in my opinion, in Scarlet and Violet so far. I'm not saying it's the best set. That's not what I'm saying. Because I know it's not. It's the most underrated. Temporal Forces is one of the shortest printed sets so far. Now, yes, it's well within its print window. There may be way more prints of it. It's available for retail on both Pokemon Centers, US Pokemon Center and UK Pokemon Center, okay? And no one is looking at it right now. But I'm telling you, look at these prices. 32% price rise over the last 3 months. And actually, that started 2 months ago. It started right at the end of December, it started to rise up in price above retail. You could get it way below retail. Look, $134 you could get it for back in December. No one was touching Temporal Forces when it came out. It's gaining in popularity. People are starting to wake up to the fact that Temporal Forces is actually a pretty good set, and no one's putting it away right now. That's a lie. I'm putting it away right now. Temporal Forces is going to do really well. $160 last sold. That, a few weeks ago, you could pick it up for like $130. Not even that long ago. 6 weeks ago, $130. That's quite a significant rise up in price. Okay, $30 over the last few weeks when it only cost $130 in the first place. That's what? 25% gain? 25% gain in like less than 2 months? Temporal Forces is going to start moving, I'm telling you. And again, I really don't think that Pokemon are going to do massive reprints on it. It's going to focus on other sets. Look at this in the UK. Last sold this morning, 125. That's so far below retail. That's nearly 30%, 30% plus below retail you can pick this up for. In no world is that a bad deal. Okay, yeah, you might have to sit on it for a couple of years until it's way out of print, but it's so far below MSRP at the moment. £125. Okay, this one that I just put up to the camera, this box, I haven't even had a chance to open it yet. I bought for £112. Okay, £112. Retail on that was, how much is retail on a Scarlet and Violet booster box actually in the UK right now? 143. So retails for 143. I bought for 112. Should we calculate it out? Let's just do it. 143 minus 112, 31 below retail, 31 divided by 143, 21%. 21% below retail for Temporal Forces on one of the shortest printed sets, and I think it's a decent set. Now is your opportunity to buy into it cheap before all of the sheep flood into it, because they will. I'm telling you, all of the YouTubers will start talking about Temporal Forces in 10 months, 11 months time once it starts getting closer to that sunset window. I'm not waiting for that. I'm picking up all the deals, and there's a few other people that are. I'm always going to be honest and upfront with you guys about what I'm buying. I am buying heavy into Twilight, Masquerade and Temporal Forces now, because now is the opportunity to get it super cheap. We're in a whole new world now. We're in a whole new market where prices just go crazy. The demand is insane. Rip and ship culture, they can't buy product fast enough. Pokemon Company can't print product fast enough for the rip and shippers. The reason why there's so much demand is because rip and ship people can buy a product for any price. They can buy it for a brand new set. They can buy it for 80%, 100%, 200% over retail. And it doesn't matter. They still make profit because they charge what they want for the pack opener. They buy it for 200% over retail. This is hypothetically 200% over retail, and then they add on their whatnot fee, which is probably what, I don't know, 8, 10%, 18%. I don't even know. I don't sell on whatnot, but they factor in that fee, and then they'll put on some extra money. They'll put on a little bit of profit for themselves. They'll put on another $5, £10, $10. I've seen it. I've seen these big YouTubers, right, sell 151 packs to be opened for $40. $40 for a 151 pack. It's just disgusting. They charge whatever they want, and they will just buy out anything they can because they can't keep stock in quick enough. I've seen videos where medium-sized whatnot people are going through $50,000 worth of sealed product in a weekend. We've never had this in the market. And that's not even the highest up people. The highest up people are probably doing 100k, 200k plus of sealed product in a weekend. Everything is going bananas. But in a market like that, you need to look at what other people are not looking at. And the fact that you can pick up Temporal Forces for so cheap, where is it? Look, Temporal Forces for $160. There's no way that's a bad deal. £125. When was the last time we saw any booster boxes for £125, let alone in a hype market? When was the last time we saw a set that cheap? I don't know. I'm buying loads of it. I am pausing my Sword and Shield buying to buy into this stuff because, I'm sorry, for £125, I didn't even pay £125. I did a cheeky best offer. I got it for £112. I got even less. I got another 10% off the top of that. Just saying, guys. Crazy deals to be had. This is the chase card in Temporal Forces. When it first came out, people really weren't sure about it. The Raging Bolt SIR. I think this is a sleeper card. I think this could become a very, very desirable card in the future. Let's have a look at its price history. When it first sort of came out, let's see. It was averaging, look, it's all over the place. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. But overall, over the last year, plus 88%. People are starting to wake up to the fact that these are the chase cards of Scarlet and Violet. Okay? And I'm telling you that Temporal Forces is widely available for way under retail, and the chase card is already going for, hang on, let me just go into near mint. Look at these last sales, $99, $99, $102, $96. I think it's a cool looking card as well. $100, and it's one of the most widely available Scarlet and Violet sets right now, and the chase is already at $100. What's going to happen to the chase card price once it goes out of print? In my eyes, it's only going to go up. And I think that Raging Bolt is such a creeper card. I think that people are really starting to, the term is look back at it with rose tinted glasses. Sorry, I can't get my words out today. What that means is you look back at these cards, and with time they look better and better and better. I think it's an awesome card. I'm really tempted to pick one up in a PSA 10. I really like this card. I might get it in a PSA 9 actually. If you know me, I tend to really just collect PSA 9 cards. I like to get them for around about raw price if I can. PSA 9 is such a weird thing because PSA 9 is almost exactly the same as a PSA 10, but the prices are always so much cheaper because people want the perfect card. They want the PSA 10. However, weirdly with PSA 9 cards, half of PSA 9 cards are the same price as raw price. So you're actually getting a better deal than buying it raw because it's already been authenticated. You know it's really good quality. Obviously people prefer buying raw because they make plays on it to try and get the PSA 10. I understand that. But for me personally, who doesn't care, if I can pick up a PSA 9 for the same price as a raw card, I'm just going to buy the PSA 9 because I've got no interest in grading the raw card. But some PSA 9 cards are way more expensive than the raw price. So if I can find a Raging Bolt for PSA 9 for around about $100, I'll probably buy one. But then it's difficult because for an extra £25 or $25, I could just buy a booster box. Do I just buy the booster box? I don't know. It's weighing up the investment versus collection. And I'm always fighting myself because I'm half and half. I'm a collector as well. I like the Raging Bolt. I think it'll do well. I think I've gone down enough of a tangent on what I'm buying at the moment and talking about Ultra Modern. Let's have a look at Sword and Shield now. Now, just because I'm not buying into Sword and Shield for these couple of weeks, like I said, I'm putting it on pause, doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to buy into more of it. Okay, I'm one of those people that tends to buy Sword and Shield sealed product every week if not every week, every 2 weeks, I'm buying at least a booster box. So just because I'm putting it on pause for a few weeks doesn't mean that I'm not going to go back to buying it, if that makes sense. I also have a massive position in Sword and Shield as well. So let's have a look at Pokemon Center US. This is everything in stock for you. Everything. Not just booster boxes, everything. The only thing you can get is Temporal Forces booster boxes for retail. And I'm telling you, they won't last for much longer. But as you can see from our previous analysis, you can pick them up for, yeah, about the same price on eBay, $160. So exact MSRP from the source, same on Pokemon Center. You've got no booster boxes available, no loose booster packs, no sleeves, no blisters, no nothing from Pokemon Center. All I've done is load up Pokemon Center US and tick this little one, in stock. That's all I've done. Some people in the comments were saying a few weeks ago, oh, you're just selectively showing stuff. No, I'm not. Look, literally, every single product is sold out if I untick it. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's a booster bundle. Doesn't matter if it's a folder. Every single product, apart from Temporal Forces booster boxes, are sold out on Pokemon Center US. Doesn't matter what page I go on. Everything is sold out. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We are in a different market now. We are in completely different market conditions than we were in Sword and Shield. We need to start moving in now on Scarlet and Violet product. I'm telling you. I'm calling it early. I'm one of the only people that's saying it. Trust me when I say that if you don't buy in to Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade over the next couple of months, you're going to regret it. I know I would. Pokemon Center UK, similar story. We've got Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces. Not a big fan of Paradox Rift at the moment. I think it's a bit of a mid-set, to be honest. I'm surprised that the US is sold out of Paradox Rift, to be honest. I think it will do okay long term. I kind of compare it to... What can I compare it to in the Sword and Shield era? I don't even know. I can compare it to Shrouded Fable. I'm going to compare it to Shrouded Fable because it's one of those sets that I think that people don't really care about, and it will probably do medium to okay long term. It will rise up in price, but I think that something like Temporal Forces will climb up much quicker than Paradox Rift, in my opinion. We've got a few other products in stock, just some random bits. These booster bundles are nice, cheap way to buy into Shrouded Fable or Temporal Forces. Personally, I'm kind of staying away from Shrouded Fable at the moment. If I do move into Shrouded Fable at all, it will be if I can pick it up sub-retail price. And again, I'll be of the assumption that I'm going to have to sit on it for 2 years, 3 years plus to see some decent gains. Personally, though, if I'm going to buy into Shrouded Fable, it's going to be right when it hits the out of print window. It's going to be right when it hits that 2 years after release. When did Shrouded Fable come out? Was it like December time, January time, something like that? Maybe I'm wrong. So we're going to have to wait another couple of years until we start making plays on Shrouded Fable, personally. We've got a few triple blisters, that kind of thing. Triple blisters aren't a bad play. I just personally don't do it myself, again, unless you see it for below retail. $12.49 though for 3 booster packs isn't too bad. And then we've got a couple of loose cards as well. I think that pretty soon we're going to see similar to what we saw in the US Pokemon Center, and we're just going to see sold out, sold out, sold out. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Let's have a look at the markets then, particularly Sword and Shield. We've got to do it as we do every week. Evolving Skies, again, we're just cooling off, kind of a flat market at the moment. We're still so close to the all-time high though, so really nothing to worry about. The hype just isn't on Sword and Shield at the moment. That's all it is. Prices are just cooling off for a little bit while everyone sinks all of their money into Prismatic Evolutions and Journey Together pre-orders and all of that nonsense. It's not nonsense. I'm just I'm speaking out of turn there for Prismatic Evolutions. I just think that some of the prices people are paying for it at the moment is crazy. Let's have a look at last sales then. $1,285, $1,300, $1,350. It's been pretty stable for the last kind of week or so on Evolving Skies. What do I think it's going to do long term? I still think it's going to have a really good 2025. I think that we're going to see more of a pump into the Sword and Shield market, particularly around Sword and Shield sealed products and the alt arts. And I think that they're going to have a really good year. I don't see you being able to get a $1,200 Evolving Skies booster box in December 2025. I just don't think that's going to be possible. You're going to be paying 2k plus, I think. But that's a bit of an out there prediction. In the UK, last sold £1,000. Last in the US, $1,200. Again, the peak was what? We saw a $1,400 Evolving Skies a few weeks ago. And then we saw a £1,200 Evolving Skies on the UK market. So we've cooled off around about 20%. Nothing to worry about at all. We're kind of stable at this price. The supply is meeting the demand. You've got to remember, though, that boxes are getting cracked every day. So it's only a matter of time until this goes back up in value, I'm telling you. Same with Fusion Strike, really. Fusion Strike, you can see that we peaked here around January, around about the $480 mark, and we've just cooled down a little bit. I don't know if there's been some like crazy promotion over the weekend on TCG Player, but you can see here that sales volume on all of these sets go from around about 6 a day to 69 a day. So I presume they did some kind of coupon or discount code or something, so it's kind of messing up the prices a bit. Because if you look at this on Fusion Strike, it looks like it's dropping in price, right? It looks like the average price now is $433, but then if you actually look at last sold, $489, $485, $474. I told people that we're going to see a $500 Fusion Strike booster box. I said that a couple of weeks ago, I think, and now we're pretty much there. So yeah, last solds on TCG Player, $489. We're right on the door of $500 a box for Fusion Strike, and I think it's going to smash through it over the next couple of months. There you go, look, last sold, US eBay was yesterday, 28th of Feb, $500, buy it now. Don't think it's going to get any cheaper, personally. Cheapest in the UK, £311. The reason why Fusion Strike is so undervalued, in my opinion, is it has two of my favourite chase cards from Sword and Shield in it. We have the Sleepion, as I like to call it, the Sleeping Espeon. Last sold in a PSA 10, $639. By the way, just look at this. PSA 10, Prismatic Evolutions, Espeon, $1,250. Who is paying $1,250 for an Espeon PSA 10 at the moment? I think it's ludicrous. Especially when, for pretty much the same price, you can get the out of print Gengar. Look at this. Nearly $1,400. In fact, there is one there. $1,400 for the Gengar PSA 10. $1,300. That is... What is that? Why is that so cheap, that one? I don't know. I don't reckon that one shipped, personally, in my opinion. Anyway, $1,300, $1,400 for the Gengar in a PSA 10 from Fusion Strike. It's an insane card. It's one of the top chase cards from Sword and Shield. Everyone loves a bit of Gengar as well. I think Fusion Strike is going to have an absolutely massive year. Even at $500 a box, I can't see it not going up to $1,000 a box. Yeah, it might take 12 months. It might take 2 years for it to get to $1,000 a box, but I don't see it not getting there. This is the Gengar. You can see its price is just continuing to rise. Yes, we've had a little bit of a dip over the last couple of weeks, but really nothing when you zoom out. Look, in December, it was still $434 for a raw near mint Gengar. And it's up 65% over the last 3 months. What's it up in the last month? Down 1.3% in the last month. 1.3% though on $717 is like less than $10. So yeah, I'll know a $10 drop on a $700 card. Really wouldn't be worried about it, to be honest. I think Fusion Strike is a massive set, and it's going to do really well. Astral Radiance, I've always said it looks cheap. It's out of print, and it's going for $250 a box. Not much more to say. I think it's one of my top 5 sets of Sword and Shield. I think it's massively undervalued. Last sold, look, you could pick it up for $230. Another one going for $240. Last sold, US eBay, $235. Look at this. Even the ETB, $46. These were a lot cheaper recently. You could get it like sub $40 not that long ago. So the fact that the ETB is starting to climb up in price as well is a positive sign. But yeah, $230 for Astral Radiance just seems super, super cheap. Lost Origin, I've said for ages that it looks cheap. There's no way that Fusion Strike, if it's $500 a box, Lost Origin should be $400 a box. They should be, you know, up near each other at least. They shouldn't be $100 apart. No way. Especially when you've got the Alt Art Giratina chase from Lost Origin. I think that it's massively undervalued at the moment. You can get a bit of a discount in price. In fact, you can't, right? So this is what annoys me about TCG Player and like averages, especially when there's like a big promotion and loads get sold. It just throws off the averages, right? If you look at that chart, it looks like, oh no, it's dropped down in price from its all-time high, right? All-time high, $387. We agree, yeah? $387 was its all-time high in January. Last sold, $400. Okay, we're at an all-time high now on Lost Origin. Ignore this chart, it's wrong. Last sold Lost Origin. Look, you could get it sub $400, $370 on a buy it now from yesterday. The Elite Trainer box is starting to climb as well. $70 there. Someone picked one up for $46 sealed. What? That's a crazy good deal, especially when someone on the same day or the day before. Oh no. That one's from November. I don't know why eBay has started doing this recently. Look, I'm sorted by ended recently, and then randomly it just chucks in one from November. Look, February 28th, February 28th. So you can see the price difference. So between November and February, it's gone from $46 to $70. It's not going to get any cheaper. It's going to continue to rise up in price. Lost Origin to the moon. Talking about to the moon, Crown Zenith. I've talked a lot about Crown Zenith over the last few weeks. If you're interested in buying Crown Zenith, a few videos back I did a full analysis on it. I think Crown Zenith is great. You can see a couple behind me. I'm buying quite heavy into Crown Zenith at the moment as well. It's just starting to stomp up on the chart. There's so many good cards in Crown Zenith. It is the last set of Sword and Shield. It is a speciality set, so there's no booster boxes of it. So the main chase on it is, or the main chase product is the Elite Trainer box. I think the Elite Trainer box displays really well as well. It looks really good with the black and the gold. And it's just chunking up in price. So 70% price rise over the last 3 months. Over the last 1 month, it's like 15% apparently. Last sales, we're now at 120. Okay, these were going for $100 a box. Pretty recently, you can still get them $100 a box on eBay, but I don't know in the US, do you pay tax after your eBay sale? I don't actually know, but yeah, $100 a box on eBay. Pick up a deal. This is your last chance to pick up Crown Zenith for sub $100 a box. Yes, you only get it 1 cent less than $100 a box, but $100 a box for Crown Zenith I think is going to look super cheap over the next 12 months. I can see it having a really good year. I don't see a situation where it doesn't just jump up to $150 like pretty soon. I think that's definitely achievable. In the UK, you're gonna pay around about $115 all in. This one's about $113 all in, $120, $110, $120, $125. Someone paid $130. I bought those two behind me for the exact same price. They were both best offer £115. I think that's going to do well long term for me. We're just going to zip through a couple of the others. Chilling Reign, again, charts look like they're just really dipping down in price, but they're not. They're pretty close to the all-time high, $324 for Chilling Reign. Last sold on TCG Player. Again, Silver Tempest, pretty much the same. We're close to all-time highs, $251. And finally, Brilliant Stars. We are pretty much flat on the market again. Nearly $300 a box, $294. If we scroll back a little bit further back, you could see, let's see, on the 20th, so last week they were going for about $290. Now they're going for about $295. If anything, a few percent gain over the last week. Again, everything in Sword and Shield is kind of just cooling off a little bit. I think that we're going to see a continued pump in the Sword and Shield markets over the next 12 months. I think they're going to do really well. But my focus primarily, at least for the next few weeks, is on Twilight Masquerade and the big sleeper set, in my opinion, which is Temporal Forces. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below what you guys think. Do you think Twilight Masquerade is going to have a good year? Do you like Temporal Forces? Do you think I'm right, being one of the first people on YouTube to put my neck on the line and call out that Temporal Forces is going to be a creeper set? If anything, I'm being brave. Am I stupid? Am I not? Time will tell. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.